Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry we're late, but good to see everyone. We're going to start with the roll call and introductions for any guests. Okay. Commissioner Stout.
Commissioner Stout here.
Okay. Commissioner Foster. Here. Commissioner Everett. Here. Commissioner Taylor.
I'm here.
Okay. All right. We have any introductions? Any guests?
I can introduce myself. I'm Marie Davis. I'm the Director of Community Engagement for the Denver Police Department. Gracie just invited me to come and share about the Blue Beyond the Badge.
What's your last name again?
Davis, D-A-C-I-S.
Welcome. Good to see you. Any virtual guests who would like to introduce themselves? Okay. Then we'll go to the approval of the minutes. I hope everyone had a chance to read the minutes. If there are no changes, deletions, or anything like that, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Second. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Minutes are approved. Board updates. Commissioners, any updates?
Wanted to see, is any of our legal representative present in the meeting? Brian's out. Are we able to start?
Yeah. Yeah, they're not voting numbers or anything, so we should be fine. Okay, if there are no board updates, Gracie, Executive Director update.
I don't really have a presentation today. I just wanted to report out to the rest of the board and thank Commissioners Moore and Foster for joining me during our City Council presentation Wednesday of last week. I thought the City Council had very thoughtful questions. Happy to report that and if anyone is interested to see that presentation, that is in the recording for the Safety Committee side of City Council, so they have the transcript and the recording of the meeting, so anyone can view the presentation we gave. Out of all the questions that the committee members had, we are only pending one more follow-up. Everybody has been followed up the same day, so I thought, again, thank you for joining us. I thought it was a healthy conversation, and civil service is always committed to doing the best that we can to improve our processes and listen to all of our stakeholders and partners.
And I would just add that the reception from the committee was really warm, helpful. I think they really appreciated the cooperation from the staff. They couldn't really praise us enough for our cooperation, and I think they were very happy with the number of recommendations that have already been implemented to have them all done by December. So that's pretty impressive. So yeah, I thought it was good. Commissioner Foster, anything you want to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
All right, that concludes the executive director report.
All right. All right. So Dobbins. All right. All right. I got it. It doesn't look like that, but I got it. Thank you. Welcome, and we look forward to hearing your comments and maybe engaging you in some dialogue. So, good. Well,
Thank you. And Brandon's been so kind just to throw up my PowerPoint, just because I think visual aids go a long way. So you probably all heard quite a bit about our Before the Blue and Beyond the Badge program. And we have Chief Thomas to blame for this. We had heard about it in Seattle PD and thought we could bring it to Denver and that it would be a helpful training opportunity for our recruits. We'll go on to the next slide. Can you guys hear me okay? Do I need to speak up more?
No,
Okay.
we could hear you, Marie.
Perfect. So it is a community-led immersive training for the recruits, and we have planned it in partnership. We call them our co-founders with Together Colorado. But it emphasizes building community relationships before the technical skills that come from the academy, deepens understanding of complex and often challenging realities of law enforcement that come from having a very complex community in Denver, and features powerful firsthand stories from community members. Next slide. So it's a 2-week, 80-hour training. And it starts day one that they start at the academy. So you all are very familiar. Police Academy starts on Monday. So it's really their first introduction to the Denver Police Department. And we purposely put it at the beginning of the academy to provide them with the cultural awareness lens that they receive their training like the rest of the academy, and a strong foundation of empathy in their careers. So we just have that nice little graphic. The recruits are hired, then they experience the 2 weeks of before the black badge. They go through the academy and graduate. Next slide. So we launched the program in May of 2023. We've had 9 recruit classes go through, and that doesn't, the laterals now are just kind of shuffling in as they're hired. So we don't count them as a separate class, but they were just in the sessions with them. And we trained 310 recruits, which far outnumbers Seattle Police Department. Not that it's a competition, but we all know it is. So, and then we've engaged with over 80 different organizations and leaders for the program. Next slide.
Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
what does that mean? Say we engage with over 80 organizations.
So I'll dig into that a little bit more, but basically the community are the ones who are presenting and talking to the recruits. That means over 80 different people have come in and talked to them in some
Okay.
way, shape, or form.
Okay, all right. I was confused there for a moment.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
good question. Good question for sure. So our mission statement is that B4B is an experiential training program designed to provide new recruits with a comprehensive understanding of the community they serve through an immersive dialogue with community leaders, public officials, faith-based organizations, and community advocates. It provides recruits with foundational knowledge to succeed as partners in the community, as well as uphold the privilege of earning and maintaining public trust. Next slide. We have 5 main program objectives. And that's a great picture of our Nate, who we all know very well. Although usually he's smiling. But our objectives are to build trust, deepen community understanding, challenge biases, foster empathy, and then reinforce their responsibility. Next slide. So the first day, which it sounds like we are going to have some people from civil service come and observe our first day at the academy. So again, like that's their first introduction, like first day at the Denver Police Department. They get like a quick overview, and we do some of the basic HR and stuff that needs to take place. And then we have the Denver Police Museum come and give their history of the Denver Police Department. It's super fast. They don't go really in depth, but a lot of it is just talking about some of the really positive stories that have come through the police department and over the years. And then Together Colorado does a presentation on the history of policing. So that's nationally, that's in the state of Colorado, and locally in the Denver Police Department. And if anyone has heard the presentation, they're always very open with it, but it's a complex presentation. It has some of the good and some of the bad and some of the ugly of policing over the years. But we feel that it's important for the recruits to hear that and experience that, to know we've learned from it, we've grown from it, and hopefully they can take that on themselves too. But we don't want to be like that, so we're gonna build from there. And then our recruiting team is really great. After that's all done, they do a daily debrief every single day, but specifically on that day, it's really important just to talk to the recruits and say, what did you learn and how did that impact you personally, and how are you going to go forward with that in your career?
So when is the next day one session?
Monday.
This coming Monday?
Yeah.
And it's all day?
Yes. And if you just want to hear that Together Colorado presentation, and I even have a handout with the times and everything, I'll give it to you. Welcome.
I sent it to you guys. I can forward you the most updated version.
Yes.
Just they get updated.
But we'd love to have you come for sure. It's great. And the whole training, all 80 hours are open to the community. So we have council members come and go, like we want it to be, this is your training as a community. Come and observe and see what we do. Next slide. And then the next 8 days are spent and they go out to all the different districts and it's like a field trip for our police officers, for our recruits. They get on the buses and they go out and they talk to the community, they smell the community, they, walk alongside them, learn from them, and really, really get to experience what the Denver community looks like. We have the 6 police districts, and so we have a day at each district that they go and visit. And then we have some additional instruction that we add to that. Next slide. Each district has kind of their own spin on the schedule, but they follow the skeleton of an introduction to the district's priorities, key partnerships, an overview of the neighborhoods, demographics, some of the complexities of the histories, social indicators, economic information about the districts, as well as, each district has its own identity as far as what crimes are more important or more prevalent. And so they learn all of that. Next slide. And then we fondly call this portion of the day speed dating, but we don't put that in writing. But we've always felt, and one of the first few sessions that we had, the feedback that we got from the recruits is they didn't want that by PowerPoint. And so we felt that conversation is where the best communication comes from. And so this portion, a lot of them do, where they have small groups with community leaders come in, they give a presentation about, the resources they provide, or some of them are the struggles they've overcome, things like that. And then the recruits who move around the room, but then get to talk and engage in small group conversations to really learn from those community leaders. Next slide. And this was just a really great quote that I felt embodied what they're doing when they're out in the community. The community engagement was absolutely the most impactful. Knowledge can be absorbed and seen through presentations, but actually being out in the community and districts was extremely motivational and reminded me of why I'm doing it. And those are just some pictures of some of those field trips that we went on. Next slide. And then a lot of times then at the very end of the afternoon, then they go out and they'll actually play and engage at Boys and Girls Clubs. Sometimes they'll serve food in the communities, hand out popsicle, and some gardening, cleanup projects, all those things to really get some hands-on engagement, which I think is usually good for them too. They usually want to be out and about. Next slide. And then the final day is spent at the Denver Dream Center, which if you guys aren't familiar with that, it's mostly filled with people who were previously incarcerated. And so they just spend time there getting to know the individuals that are either staff or just the program participants. Next slide. They start in the morning in roundtable conversations where they talk with people, a lot of them who have been previously incarcerated. And it's fascinating to watch how the recruits will say, this is where I grew up and this was the path I was on. And these program participants will say, well, this is the path I was on. And sometimes they're very similar. And, why did one person go one way and one go the other way? And it's incredible. I mean, tears are usually shared. But they really, really enjoy just getting to know each other and talking with each other in those small groups. Next slide. And then they actually go out and do neighborhood outreach into some of the encampments and areas around the Denver Dream Center, handing out water, handing out food, which is not normal police activity. That's not normally what we would do, but it's just an opportunity to get them out of their comfort zone. And that it's hard to walk up to someone who's maybe in a tent and say, hey, do you want some water? How's your day going? And just having those conversations and those interactions, it means a lot to the recruits and they learn a lot, but it also gives them that empathy and that compassion for the people that they're engaging with. And this quote was another good one. The Denver Dream Center is probably the most impactful event for me because I got to hear about the stories from people that I probably would have been intimidated by beforehand, and hear about how their stories from their childhood really aren't that different. Next slide. And then again, they do daily debriefs, but then they also do a group debrief with the Denver Dream Center folks, with our Together Colorado community partners, anyone else who has joined in with us. And then they do a capstone project where they just write an essay, and we're trying to get them to drill down into their why. Why did you become a police officer? And did these 2 weeks really reinforce your reasoning for why in the Denver Police Department? And then we get to read through those capstone projects, which is fascinating. It's just amazing to read and learn both their personal stories and then what they took away from the training. Next slide. So this is a list of all of our 80, well over 80 community partners. I don't even think that that's 80. But we're just trying to figure out, like, how do we measure the impact of this program? Because if we're trying to look at empathy, if we're trying to look at compassion and overcoming biases and things like that, how do you measure that? That is so hard to do. And so these are one of the ways that we've done that, is just keeping track of these partners. And we really truly find that these partners own this training, that they believe it's a part of. They want to train their own recruits to become a part of the community. And so they ask to come back. And they ask, when's the next one so we can come back and be a part of it? So I really think it's a great indicator of what we're working on. Next slide. And then the other neat thing that we've seen too is that we've seen internal buy-in from community leadership. At first, we get pushback from our commanders because they know it means it's 2 weeks more that they have to wait to get their recruits that are going out on the street. And so, they're skeptical of how this is going to look. But we found they really enjoy it and they really buy into it. And 3 out of the 6 districts already have just voluntarily decided that they want to do a continuation of the program. So after the recruits graduate, get sent out to the districts, then they go and still do community projects just to continue that messaging. Which to me is great. The commanders will do what Chief Thomas says, but when they do something voluntarily, I think that's even more meaningful. Next slide. And then I always just think it's been interesting. Together Colorado, they are not known for being advocates for the police department. They're actually very well known for pushing on the police department in a lot of ways, which is healthy and it's good for us. But they get a lot of pushback for working with us. And then we get a lot of pushback of like, why are you working with someone who maybe isn't our friend or maybe isn't always advocating for us in legislation and things like that. But this again was a choice of Chief Thomas and a push of Chief Thomas, that he felt that if we are bringing in a group who pushes on us and asks for so much from us, often are critical of us, it brings legitimacy to the program. It shows that we're not just picking the community groups that are going to tickle the recruits' ears and just tell the recruits what they want to hear, but they're helping push us in the direction of like, well, are you working with this community? Are you working with this community? And so it shows that it's a full and well-rounded program, as well as it shows these recruits by, leading by example, that it's hard to have conversations with people that don't agree with you, but we still need to have those conversations. And so we as leaders, having these conversations with Together Colorado, we're partnering together, building this program together. And we found, we found a lot of common ground. We found that we're friends, even though maybe sometimes we disagree about things, which humanizes, I think, things for both of us, for both the recruits for Together Colorado and for our. Next slide. And then we do a survey at the beginning that is run by the mayor's office before they complete the training and then after they complete the training, just to see how their answers change and their perspective change. We haven't been doing it long enough to really feel and see the results that we were hoping to, but we're keeping at it. And then we're also involving some academic groups to see if we can develop that survey more to really get some good data. Next slide. And then I'll make this the last slide. I threw in a whole bunch of quotes, but I think this is a good way to end. But in the beginning, I thought that all people who break the law are the same. After attending this program, I've come to realize that these people do want change. And then another different quote, this program completely changed my outlook. Being a police officer is not just about finding crime. It's about showing the community we're human beings. Questions, feedback, thoughts?
No, I think it's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I don't know if you're a graduate, but I graduated from Stanford. It's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Right? Going into the community and figuring out what the heck, what's going on with homelessness, what's going on with criminal justice, what's going on with transportation, what's going on with healthcare, and getting an in-depth perspective can only make these folks better officers. It can only make better officers. Right? Because it can't be about them and it can't be about the individuals who are they engage with. It's got to be about something bigger. Yeah.
It's amazing. So much of the feedback we get too are like people will say, I've lived in Denver my whole life and I've seen things I've never seen and learned things I've never knew. Just in doing it.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
One question I had was, I agree with Commissioner Foster, really great program. A lot of innovation going on there. So that's nice to know and see. In addition to the survey results, I'm very interested in data. One thing that would probably be interesting if you guys haven't thought of that is to look at the classes before B4B and sort of see what the first couple of years were like for them, behavioral ones, right?
Yeah.
And then compare it to the first couple of classes, 23, 24, and just sort of see, what the differences might be. So I do think you want to gather as much data as you can, because I think that'll bring other people along. Are there other data points that you guys are looking at? You said you weren't seeing what you had hoped for so far.
Well, and a lot of the credit we will say is given to the background check process, because a lot of the recruits come into it with a well-rounded view of community. They know community policing is important, or at least they know how to answer questions on the survey.
Right.
And so, we were hoping that we would be like they answered that they didn't think community was important and that they, and so we haven't seen a lot of changes. It just seems very flatlined. We're trying to dig deeper into the data to say, like, okay, if we're just looking at averages, maybe, if we can correlate. So we added a question so we can correlate the answers because we want it to be anonymous. Because if recruit A is answering this way on this question, are they answering the same way on the question? So we're tracking the same survey without tracking their recruits so that they're honest and they're not worried about being fired. One of the tricks, because exactly what you talked about, the data, we were saying, do we look at before B4B and then after B4B? But the Academy is also simultaneously doing some really great work and some really great changes. We've seen a lot of changes in civil service and that application process, the recruiting process. So it's hard to isolate and say B4B is the only change that's taking place right now, because we're changing everything everywhere in all steps of the process. So hopefully good changes are coming in a lot of ways, but it's the credit. It's much tougher to say. But yeah, we're trying, Together Colorado has actually requested that we bring in some academics to really dig deep into that. Because the hope too would be like, if this is working so well for Denver, do we want to do it nationwide and then other departments? They're going to want data that tracks that. How do you track
Well,
passion?
Well,
You
Tim
know?
Thomas, when he was here a couple of weeks ago, one of the things he talked about was sort of respect, like how you treat citizens. So one thing you can easily track is citizen complaints, right?
Yeah.
So you can look at citizen complaints before we compete from a class and compare it to a class that went through the program. I mean, if that were dramatically down,
Right.
that would be a very important metric for selling the program. You know, like that's the people that makes it. So.
As well as accommodations, if there's
Correct.
increases in positivity and
Exactly.
hopefully reduced sports as well. So yeah, we're looking.
That would be great.
It's interesting that you mentioned backgrounds because I'd love to see, maybe it's happening, but I'd love to see engagement from your program with our background investigators. Right? And so
Absolutely.
when I see, I hear you say, we want to make sure that these officers understand that some of these young people have gotten jammed up. And yes, some of them made bad choices, and some of them bad choices were thrust upon them. But that doesn't make them bad people. And all too often, what I hear sometimes in noise inside the background investigation, the emphasis on these folks may not be good cops because they made poor choices as kids, and we want kids to make poor choices in certain environments where they can be protected.
Right.
But we want the background investigators to not ever forget the humanity of they grew up, right? I'm a prime candidate for that. Like I made all kinds of bad choices when I was a kid, and some of them resulted in me wearing handcuffs. And so I want to make sure that the background investigators get that level of engagement and experience as well to keep them from walling themselves off from, really what we're trying to accomplish across the organization. So.
Yeah, it's a great.
We actually have a couple of background investigators in the meeting today, so
Fantastic.
for them to hear it.
Yeah, sure. And I think most of the background investigators want to understand and they can, and they're probably continual learners because they're still working. But to understand the environment is different. The environment is different from when I was a police officer than it is with my son who's a police officer now, who it was when my father was a police officer in Philadelphia 50 some years ago. Right. And so it changes and we need to keep in front of everyone that's involved in this process so that we give everyone a chance to show what they can do, not to hold them accountable for what they do.
It's interesting too, because DA Walsh is really intrigued by the program. So he's trying to figure out how in the DA's office, how do they work it into to their objectives and their mission. And so we're talking about here too, but all the lens, right?
Yeah.
Of the way.
100%.
Commissioner Stout?
Two questions. One, and I'm familiar with the Seattle program. I've followed it for a few years. And I guess first, I know some of the challenges that they're having right now. It's like a $1.5 million outlay, but they have a DOJ community policing grant that's funding much of it. You're nodding.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So is that a massive challenge right now? We might lose some of that funding potentially from the DOJ grant side. And
In Seattle, you mean?
yeah, I mean, sorry, that's my question is for Denver. Are we funded through similar mechanisms?
No, honestly, what makes it so great is we've just tacked on 2 additional weeks to their training in the academy. So it's funded, how all of our salaries and things like that are funded. Seattle is different in that when they bring them on, as soon as they're hired, as soon as they're approved in the background process, they just start. And so sometimes it's weeks and weeks and weeks out Whereas, we have everyone as fast as we all can, right? Start at the same time, and go through it. So, we are not concerned about that ourselves.
I guess, we do more officers, if I understand. They go much deeper, if I understand. Like, I think I saw numbers of 45 days or 5 weeks. depending
Oh,
on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And like, is that possible? I mean, again, it's all from the funding stream right from there, but is partially, I guess, a wondering is maybe we're not seeing the level of impact we want because we're not going deep enough. Potentially, like, for instance, like the model that we're modeling off of is 2.5 times, if I understand, longer. And I guess my question to this is like blue sky, you have, unlimited resources and things like that. What does this program look like? What changes would you make to this program if you had, something?
Well, one of the things we've talked about, and we're even going to experiment with it in the next class that starts in November, or December, is do we tack it on to the back of the academy rather than the front? And we did that once back a few years ago, and I always equate it to, I felt like I was taking my teenagers around Denver on a field trip because they were just a little bit more jaded and they were really excited to get out on the street. But we're hoping now with the changes that have taken place at the academy, as well as I've prepped them really well ahead of time, will there be a greater impact if we do it at the end? Or do things like, where some of the districts are tacking on like a refresher course once they're out in the districts and applying to, okay, so now you're in District 1, go deeper into these specific neighborhoods that you're going to be serving in. And then city council is actually the ones who said, can we look at a refresher maybe 5 years down the line or something like that? When we really see that maybe some of that compassion and empathy is starting to waver in an officer's career. And I think that would be the next thing that we could really dig into, is a reminder of the why. If that's what we're digging into, then how do we dig deeper into that when we're farther along? I think that's where we're at. I like that we just do it 2 weeks, everyone together, all at the same time, because it's a really great bonding experience for them. And then it works well for you guys too. Seattle, they kind of trickle in a little bit at a time. So some people get longer versions, and I think they just do it a few days a week. And so
That makes
we're
sense.
much more, we're much more immersive. But who knows, right?
Well,
If we're digging into data and looking at some of those studies, it might help us learn a lot. So, yeah, good question.
Good questions.
I think it's great. It's a great program. I think sometimes when we want to elicit more care, sometimes we want the care, but are we caring for the people that we're asking to care more? So my question is, as far as the debrief, is it just tell me your thoughts, or is it really care and we want to hear from you and want to actually elicit what's really going on internally from candidates? Because I can see in a setting where it's particularly a new job, they don't want to say anything. Is there opportunities for them to actually speak from what's really going on and what they're experiencing?
And I actually, if Nate is around, he knew I was gonna ask him. He has been the one from the beginning. He's done a really great job leading those debriefs. And our structure always is they do some kind of personal reflection and writing. Then they do the small breakouts where they talk, and they share as a group. But Nate, dig into that, because I think that's a really good question. Do you feel like the recruits feel safe to talk transparently about what they're experiencing?
Yeah, and first and foremost, I just kind of want to echo what everybody says. I completely agree with you wholeheartedly. It's got to start from that aspect, right? It's really showing, these new and fresh officers what policing is about, right? What's the heart of it? What's the soul of it? So just wanted to put that in there. And yes, we actually kick everybody out, right? We're able to give them about 15 minutes to kind of collect their thoughts, right? To think about the things that they've seen and heard throughout the day. We tell them to be completely transparent. We want to hear what they're actually thinking, so that if there is something that, hey, maybe it's alarming, maybe it's something we need to address, that we could talk about it, right? We don't want that just to be something that's held in their mind. Get it out. Let's talk about it. Maybe we can give you a little bit different perspective on it, right? And then after they complete, their writing, we actually break them up in groups, and we all give them opportunity to talk and express what they're thinking, because it's important for all of them to hear what their colleagues around are thinking as well, right? So, yeah, there is complete transparency there. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Commissioner Taylor, did you want to say something? You had a question?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. This is great. I think it's a really incredible program. It does make me think about our last meeting, that education-based development. I'm just curious if this program has been, or a model like it has been utilized for sort of alternatives to corrective action. I mean, it's interesting to think about some of the disciplinary approaches when there's issues with whether it's police or other, and instead of enforcement actions or corrective actions, there's sort of this, kind of opportunity to take an alternative approach. And all the outcomes you talked about and all the why for this program seems like, connecting to community and compassion could diffuse certain disciplinary actions, that might be centered around disrespect or anger or, things like of that nature. So I'm just curious if programs like this have been, thought about or utilized in that kind of a way to do, a corrective approach.
That is not my area of responsibility at all, but I love that idea. I think that would be really incredible. And I know Chief Dodge and Lieutenant Aldridge are on the call, and they might have some additional feedback to that, because that's more the realm. But what a great thought, for sure.
We do have something like that in our internal affairs process. It is a mediation program where if an officer is working, has, let's say, a disciplinary discourtesy complaint or something along those lines, it's offered to the community member and the officer if they would like to mediate their difference. And so that gives there's a professional mediator that comes in. They talk through the citizen's perspective, the officer's perspective, and it allows that open dialogue to happen, where we find a lot of those disagreements about how something should have been handled is perspective, right? The community doesn't understand why an officer's asking them to do something, and it gives an opportunity for the officer to explain it. And usually they come out of those with a great understanding. The officer has an understanding of the perspective of the community member, and it also allows them to hear that so they can potentially change the way they interact if there is a better way to do it. And then the community comes away understanding that it wasn't necessarily the officer being mean. They were, doing the things that were requested of them through their training, or it was specific based on the incident.
So we're gonna have to wrap up this segment. Anybody else on the call have any questions? Just want to make sure somebody's not trying to get off mute. Okay. Thank you so much. I would love to have one of those handouts.
Yes, sure. Here's both the schedule and just something.
Okay. Anybody else want that? Great. Thank you.
And then the other thing on the back is we did do a little bit of just a analysis of the capstone project.
Okay.
Interesting to read.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in. Very interesting program. We'll look forward to having updates later.
Perfect.
Thanks. Okay, so we're going to move on to the review of candidates. Commissioner Taylor, are you ready? Do you have your handout or what have you? Oh,
Yes, yeah, I have them.
right. Here she goes. All right.
So I'm going to go around, in order of the survey here, Commissioner Warner, Commissioner Taylor, Commissioner Foster, Commissioner Everett, and Commissioner Stout, and I'm gonna ask you to do a pass and follow. Can everybody hear me okay?
Commissioner Taylor, can you hear her? Well, just speak up as best you can.
Okay.
Sorry, not very well. But yeah, if you could speak up, and I am taking 2 seconds to get the final pulled up. It wouldn't open. Please stand by.
Okay.
I think I had the wrong version. Okay, I have it now. Thank you.
So we're gonna get started. Candidate 36253.
No.
No,
No. No. No.
Candidate 327865.
No.
no,
No. No. No.
Candidate 359446.
No.
no. Oh, sorry.
No.
No,
No.
Candidate 249080.
No.
no,
No. No. No.
Candidate 307956.
No.
no,
No. No. No.
Candidate 312529.
No.
no,
No. No. No.
Candidate 365578.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Candidate 319387.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Candidate 358229.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. No. Yes.
Candidate 327783.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Candidate 355344.
Yes.
no,
Yes. No. Yes.
Candidate 355194.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Candidate 355143.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes. No.
286581.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Change mine to yes.
Yes.
Candidate 352747.
No.
yes,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Candidate 350314.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Candidate 345150.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Candidate 340250.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Candidate 174196.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Candidate 308512.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Candidate 223395.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Candidate 274915.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
Candidate 342700.
Yes.
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 Candidate 336829.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Candidate 100623.
Yes.
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 Candidate 170376.
Yes.
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 Candidate 339791.
Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Candidate 317444.
Yes.
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 Candidate 60346.
Yes.
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 Everyone, yes.
Candidate 342202.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Candidate 342209.
Yes.
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 Candidate 132524.
Yes.
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 Candidate 40566.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Candidate 107744.
Yes.
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 Candidate 286411.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 That concludes the reading.
All right. Very good. So we're going to open it up to comment from the public. The floor is open. Any comments, questions? Okay. If there are no comments from the public, we're going to go into executive session. Oh, so no executive session? All right. If there are no public comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Can I get a second? All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So you got some time back. Thank you all for joining us. Appreciate it.
Sorry I couldn't be there in person. Thanks,
We'll see you
everyone.
next time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.